Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for you to take your seats. The show is about to begin.
Musical, lyrical lingo. Every episode a new bingo. Laugh and sing, go with the flow. Tune in as the memories grow.
Hello and welcome to Musical Lyrical Lingo. We're your hosts, Tim
And LJ. Today and every week we will be discussing musicals, but specifically what they taught us.
Yeah.
What?
Who?
What?
Where?
What?
When?
I thought I did something wrong there, the way you looked at me.
Not at all. But I did take a note out of your book and I was extremely enthusiastic.
Yeah.
You're really enthusiastic on the intros and stuff.
I think it's hard. You're the first one to so you're like setting the tone and then I come in and just
Well, Lauren, there's one sure thing. We're not swapping it now.
No. Oh gosh, we forget so.
It's not happening.
No.
It is not happening.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
All good?
All great.
Fantastic.
Tell me what you have for me.
Okay, shock of the century, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Todrick Hall
Okay, yeah.
has been announced at time of recording this week, but it'll be last week or 2 weeks ago when you get this episode, as being the choreographer and director for the West End premiere of Burlesque.
Yeah.
Which is going to open in London Savoy Theatre from July the 10th to September the 6th. Now, the reason I'm confused is obviously Burlesque has had its world premiere this year in Manchester and Glasgow. And it had a director choreographer. Yeah. So Todrick Hall is succeeding Nick Winston. Mm-hmm. So the nosiness in me wants to know what's going
on. It's obviously just getting a wee bit of a revamp.
Yeah, and Todrick Hall was in that world premiere. He played Sean.
Okay.
And Todrick's also written some new music
for
the West End.
This is what my theory is.
I love your theories because they're normally very good.
This is a very short stint that is going to be happening because Paddington is moving into Savoy.
It's so exciting, isn't it?
But I think Burlesque wants a longer home. So right now, the way it is, nobody wants to take it for longer. So they're revamping it. So when people come to see it for the short stint that it is in Savoy, we're going to see it 6 months' time somewhere else for longer. That's what...
But which version? The world premiere version or the London? But that's what I mean. What happened? Like, why are they doing it completely new?
Because it didn't get the long stint that they wanted. I think they wanted it to come into town and be there, not just be a 6-week thing or whatever. I think.
Yeah, but why change up when the show is clearly there and set?
Because maybe there's just something missing.
That's what I mean. I want to know what's going on.
Right. Okay.
There's drama that we're not being told. I think. Do you know what I mean? Like.
Well, I think
because I thought the world premiere stuff looked really good.
But then you didn't see the whole thing.
That's very true. That is it. On Paddington, stuffed Bert from Mary Poppins. I'm going to play that bear.
Oh, the actual bear?
I'm going to play bear.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to play Paddington.
Interesting.
It's very exciting.
Very.
Had you heard rumours or whisperings about it?
Yeah.
Okay, missed that.
Oh, did you not know that it was in the...
I went... Paddington the Bear is now a musical.
Yeah, no, I knew that Fletcher had been working on it for a while.
Did not know Tom Fletcher of he's going to kill me. Mick Busted. Tom Fletcher of McFly fame.
Yes.
Is
and Carrie Hope Fletcher's brother.
Yeah.
Yes, because maybe it's just from her socials and stuff I've seen it. No, I definitely knew that he was in the middle of that. Well, very exciting.
Amazing. At the time of recording, the tour of Lion, Witch and Wardrobe is in our local theatre, the Opera House. Did you know, honest to goodness, the world is a mad place. Mm-hmm. But you know that a man has recently been charged
What?
for stealing the White Witch's coat that he stole when the show was in Edinburgh.
What?
Isn't that ridiculous? So the 34-year-old man has been charged following the incident that took place on the 27th of March. He stole the faux fur coat that the White Witch wears, and it also, the original, that coat still remains missing as far as I'm aware.
Oh my goodness.
What goes through
Could
people's...
you imagine that wardrobe mistress is...
I know.
Woof.
I know. You'd be past yourself, wouldn't you?
That's crazy.
Isn't that bizarre? What a bizarre piece of theatre news.
I've heard it's going down. It's great.
I'm so gutted.
I'm gutted.
Yeah.
Gutted. There was no tickets. And he's coming to Dublin though in a couple more. Has it just been to Dublin? No, I can't remember.
But will it not be sold out there too?
I know.
Because when I went on, it's just a complete sellout.
I know.
I am gutted.
Just so lovely as well, because obviously C.S. Lewis and Belfast and have lovely C.S. Lewis Square just down from, near the Opera House as near can be. But yeah, and also, sorry, just to move on, more theatre news. Are you going to mention the UK and Ireland tour of Mrs. Doubtfire?
No, because I didn't know that there was a UK and Ireland tour.
Yeah, so it was announced yesterday at 10 a.m.
I love it.
And this is what excites me, because it can't say UK and Ireland if it's not coming to this island.
Oh, if it's not coming to Belfast, what?
So that's what I mean. Like, it'll either be Belfast or Dublin.
Dublin, yeah.
But the fact it doesn't just say, sometimes it says UK tour and then we never know if Belfast is going to get it.
Yes.
But the fact that it says UK and Ireland tour means it's definitely going.
Definitely has to come to Dublin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
amazing.
yes.
That is exciting. I'm very excited by that, because I would love to have seen that.
Yes. But I knew whenever it announced, they spun this wheel or this world, and I was like, I bet you it's going on tour.
Yeah.
And then
it's
4 months later.
The type, from the sounds of it, it's the type of musical that will do amazingly well on tour. Something else that's very exciting, the National Theatre, because they now have a new artistic director, and they have released their season, for the next year, isn't it? Up to 2026, is that?
Yeah.
Into 2026, yeah. And there's loads going on, including lots of fantastic people, including, what's his name? From Normal People. Why is his name just gone out of my head? Paul Mescal is going to be in the National Theatre doing two shows apparently. But what I'm really excited about is a new musical version of Pride.
Yes!
And Pride, the 2014 film, is one of my favourite films about the miners joining forces with the LGBT.
Yeah.
I think that could be like a real hit. Like, I think I could see that having legs after its stint in the National Theatre. So I think that's very exciting. Also, want to know how you feel about this. Andrew Lloyd Webber revealed that a revival of our favourite musical Cats is going to be coming to London in 2026.
Yeah.
He has also said that award-winning choreographer and artistic director of Regent's Park Open Air Theatre, Drew McConey, one of my favourite choreographers, is set to create a fresh production. Now, when I saw that he had said there was a revival coming, I thought it was going to be the Broadway revival, and I got really excited because I actually would love to see what they've done with it in Broadway. They kind of put it into
like a Vogue,
Vogue-y kind of
catwalk, didn't they?
Underground clubby kind of version. But it's not a direct transfer of the Broadway production. It is a completely fresh new version that Drew McConey's going to create. Yeah. Which I think could probably still be amazing, because I think he is amazing. He's very, very talented, creative.
It'll be certainly interesting. There's loads at the minute as well. We've got The Frogs, the Sondheim musical, which Nathan Lane revised, and it's currently in production or like rehearsals at the moment.
Yeah.
And then I'm hoping we'll be able to see it on PBS this week or next week. The cast recording, the pro shot of Next to Normal, is going to be out. So I'm hoping that means that in the UK we'll be able to see it. So you know, way Waitress got their pro shot first, and then it took a few months for it to come over.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping
that
we'll get to
annoys
see.
me though, because
What
they were both, well, not the Waitress one, but Next to Normal was recorded in a London theatre.
I know. So
Why does PBS
sure.
America get it
I'm not
before?
sure, but...
Anyway, let's not create division.
No.
Talking about America, the Tony Awards Tony nominations were made last week. So up for, just interesting, want to know your opinions. Up for Best Revival of a Musical is Floyd Collins' Gypsy, starring Audrey McDonald. Pirates of Penzance.
That's meant to be brilliant.
Yeah, I've seen a few videos. It looks really good. And then obviously Sunset Boulevard that walked away with the Oliviers last year. What do you think?
Yeah, out of those,
Yeah.
I think Sunset's still getting such a big buzz around it. I think it'll be hard, but I think Pirates is in for a good chance.
I agree. Yep. Then Best Actor in a Musical. Let me find.
I think Tom Francis is he Best Supporting Actor? He's up for.
I should really have got these in order before I started talking about them.
Yeah.
The actress ones are quite interesting. You've got Nicole Scherzinger.
You've got Nicole, you've got Audrey you've
McDonald.
got Megan Hilty, and...
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Love the catchy tunes and insightful discussions on musical lyrical lingo? Why would you not? Now you can reap your fandom. Ooh, we've got fans. And show off your love of all things musical theatre with our exclusive merchandise. Ooh.
From comfy tees,
T-shirts,
mugs to stylish tote bags, we have something for every fan. Our designs are inspired by the show's iconic themes.
Because we are so iconic.
And featured playful quotes, alpha, ba, and graphics that will have you humming along.
I will never work again.
Wherever you go.
So head over to our merch store now and start shopping. Spend your money, people. And don't forget to share your pics on our social media using #podcast musical lyrical lingo merch. We love to see our fans rocking our gear.
Yes, we do. Happy shopping.
You can't say one without the other from Death Becomes Her. That's also been nominated for...
I forgot her name.
I know, it's going to annoy me. That's annoying.
But I really hope Megan, as much as I know Nicole Scherzinger is doing amazing.
Yes.
I think obviously Death Becomes Her is doing wonderful too, and she's great.
Jennifer
Samard.
And then also, to be fair, we should mention Jasmine Amy Rodgers for the musical. I'm so interested in what that's going to be like. Just one more we shout out for actor, best performance by an actor in a leading role in a play. Louis McCartney from good old Northern Ireland.
That's right.
As we mentioned, he has been nominated for his role in Stranger Things, The First Shadow, that we mentioned.
Fantastic.
Yeah. He's up against George Clooney.
I know.
Imagine being able to say, yeah, I was nominated opposite George Clooney. Imagine if he walked away with the win.
Wow.
Delighted.
Wow.
And then your play that you mentioned on last week's.
Yep. John Proctor is
the
villain.
Is a villain. It's been nominated for best play. There you go.
Yeah, it'll be
very exciting.
Interesting. I do love Tony season. Not that we get to see it, but
I know.
Usually we get some highlights on YouTube months
Not as
later.
many as you used to.
No.
They've cracked down on that an awful lot.
Well, thank you so much for your theatre news. There was a lot there. Appreciate
it was the Tony.
What are we doing this week?
Are we doing a musical that was nominated, that won a Tony? I can't remember. Some revivals got a few nominations. No, one. Yeah, it did win.
Okay, there we
Some
go.
revivals of this musical
Oh.
won a Tony. Tony!
What are we doing? We're way back in 1888? No, 1873.
Oh, we've done well this week in our research. To be fair, I've got so many notes I can't actually find the information.
We are back in the 1800s anyway. This is Carousel.
That was the worst intro we've ever done for a
it was
musical,
really
isn't
bad.
it? We're back with our friends Richard Rodgers and Oscar Hammerstein for their second musical together after their first groundbreaking Oklahoma, on the heels of the groundbreaking, I'm just going to say it again, the groundbreaking Oklahoma Carousel stirred audiences with a tragic love story told with beautiful music and sublime dance. There's my word again. It was Richard Rodgers' personal favourite of his many productions. He said Oscar never wrote more meaningful or more moving lyrics. He mentioned that in his autobiography, Music Stages. And to me, my score is more satisfying than any I've ever written. But it's not just the song, it's the whole play. Beautifully written, tender, without being mawkish. It affects me deeply every time I see it performed.
Yeah.
What a lovely way to talk about your own work.
I know. And it not sound.
Yeah, that's
like
very
up your-
true.
1945, this musical is adapted from Ferenc Molnar. Is that how you say it?
I'm so glad you took that bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
His 1909 play, which was Lilium, named Lilium, sorry. But they changed Budapest for Maine. Changed it slightly. So 1945, it opened on Broadway. It only ran for 890 performances, which nowadays isn't too bad. If you run for certain performances, it's only one of theirs, Rodgers and Hammerstein's, not to do 1,000 performances.
What?
1950, it came to the West End. Then you had a West End revival in 1992, a Broadway revival in 94, another West End revival in 2008, back to London in 2017, and then Broadway 2018. So
And I hope you kept up with all of that, folks.
So
it's been around.
it has been around. There's been a couple of tours thrown in there as
Yeah.
well, but there hasn't been one for a while, 2018.
Yeah, and I think that's it. It is a funny show in that you can understand why it hasn't disappeared, but it's also not brought out on a regular, you know. And even Rodgers and Hammerstein had been reluctant at the beginning to even pick it up. You know, I think Oklahoma being such a success. I also love that in this episode, my favourite Oklahoma is going to come up an awful lot because there's an awful lot to give it credit to.
Is interesting. It was an immediate hit with both critics and audiences, but it just didn't have as much success commercially as Oklahoma. And that 100% is down to the fact that
Oklahoma's amazing.
No, is the fact that it doesn't have a happy, tied up in a bow ending.
No, and that's it. And I think even, you know, say the playwright's name again.
I think it's Molnar.
So yeah, the Hungarian play Lilium.
Yeah.
By Molnar. It's a classic, but it's a bit risky. Yeah. And they were worried about being accused of adding songs where songs weren't needed.
Yep.
Then there was also the fact that Lilium was set in Budapest, as you've mentioned, a place neither Rodgers or Hammerstein had the slightest empathy with. And then also a play that ends with just about the least crowd-pleasing scene for a musical possible, where the British father in spirit returns to see his daughter and slaps her which for her feels like a kiss.
Yeah. Yes, we'll go into that.
Yeah. And add to all of this, even if they did decide to take it on, there was no guarantee that the Hungarian playwright would approve, because he had already turned down the likes of Gershwin and Puccini.
Yeah. So he didn't want it turned into a musical. He didn't want to part with the play. He loved it, obviously, the way it was, and
yeah.
they tried for I think about 2 years. They definitely spoke to him, and I just wasn't having it. But the one thing that did get him to was your wee musical.
Sorry, say that again. What was the reason that Molnar decided to give the rights?
Couldn't get him to agree, but once he seen Oklahoma, he agreed he would get 1% of the gross and £2,500 for personal services. He was totally taken by what they were able to do to Oklahoma.
He was an Oklahoma fan, like the rest of us, Lauren. like the rest of us musical fans out there, he was a fan of Oklahoma. And much to everyone's trepidation, he gave them the rights, and he even turned up to rehearsals. So, convinced that he would hate it, the writers Oscars and Hammerstein nervously introduced themselves, but he was ecstatic with what they had done to his play, especially their new ending. They had to do something about the original ending. Yeah. They couldn't slap his daughter. The only criticism he had was when he icily delivered his complaint that the director smoked too much in rehearsals.
Well, there we go. I mean, if that's the only complaint that you're going to get out of...
But let's just never forget, we wouldn't have had Carousel the musical if we hadn't had Oklahoma, because he was a fan of Oklahoma.
So, Carousel is set in 1873 Maine.
Not Budapest.
There's 2 young female mill workers, and they visit the Carousel after work. I love the names in Carousel. I have to say, I love Carousel.
So do I.
I adore Carousel.
Yeah.
But Julie Jordan, I just love that name.
You're
Julie.
a queer one, Julie Jordan.
Mr. Snow. I just love the names on this. Anyway, Julie Jordan attracts the attention of Billy Bigelow.
Brilliant.
Again, another great name, and she just becomes absolutely infatuated with him, and he becomes infatuated with her. Time passes, and they end up getting married. However, Billy is still that Carousel lad, and he hasn't really made much of himself. He's still unemployed, and he lashes out on Julie. And this, I think, was quite jarring for audiences, is seeing this anti-hero as such, who's meant to be the leading man, you know. Yeah. He hits his wife.
His faults, yeah, absolutely.
And he's then tempted by robbery whenever he realizes that Julie is pregnant, and he decides to take part in the robbery.
Yeah, he realizes he can't provide for his family as things stand. Yeah.
The robbery, unfortunately, is a failure. And Billy, now, this is where there's the difference between the film, which some people will be very familiar with, and the stage version. Billy ends up killing himself and dies in Julie's arms. Billy then ends up in heaven, though he's not actually allowed in, as he didn't do good enough on Earth. But as long as there is still one person on Earth alive who remembers him, he can go to Earth for a day. And that's how the musical is taken. He is allowed to go to Earth in the film because there's a problem and he has to go and solve it, but it's slightly different to the stage version. He must help his daughter, who is now 15 years, as 15 years have passed Earthside. Billy shows himself to his daughter, but when she refuses his star as a gift, he hits her. He then disappears, and Louise, his daughter, tells her mother about the blow that felt like a kiss. Julie completely understands and knows that Billy is about. Billy then tells Julie he loves her, and then he goes into heaven.
And you do, it's a weepy. Like, I remember, like, actually hyperventilating at the back of the stalls when
With
I
me.
saw, oh my gosh.
You took me.
That's right. And I did, didn't I? We both hyperventilated.
We were both crying,
Yeah.
but you took me. It was a present.
That's right. Oh.
Yeah. So that, it's not your Oklahoma at the end. It's,
Yeah.
It's a sad one.
The 1992 London revival got 4 Oliviers, including Best Musical Revival, Best Director, and Joanna Riding and Janie D won for Actress and Supporting Actress, respectively. And the 1994 Broadway revival had 5 noms and 5 Tony Awards, including Best Revival and Audrey McDonough for Best Actress. So there you go. The original Broadway production was noted not just for its music, but also for Agnes de Mille's stunning dance sequences and choreography. And I don't think you can talk about Carousel without talking about the choreography. And obviously, as a choreographer, I will not stand for it.
And it obviously has a very famous ballet.
Well, it does.
well.
So in Act 2, de Mille choreographed a 15-minute dance suite. It was to introduce the troubled Louise, who was the teenage daughter of Julie and Billy. Now, in my opinion, there's no need for a 15-minute dance suite, and that's my one issue I have with this musical. It's the same issue I have with my beloved Oklahoma. There's no need for the big massive ballet. You can establish what you need to establish in less than 15 minutes, much less.
Though this one doesn't jar me as much as Oklahoma's.
It drags it a bit, I think.
Yeah, maybe cut it to 8.
Yeah. Agnes de Mille pioneered an American style of dance that combined modern ballet and folk idioms. In addition to Carousel, she choreographed the great musicals Oklahoma and Brigadoon. Some interesting Carousel facts. Did you know that Frank Sinatra had originally agreed to take on the role of Billy Bigelow in the 1956 movie version, but he backed out when he heard that extra time would be needed to shoot the film because of the new film technology at the time, CinemaScope 55.
Apparently he was very famously quoted to say, I was only hired to film one film. Like, shoot one film. But technically, in his eyes, he was going to be doing it twice.
Oh.
But also, that is what the rumour is.
Oh.
He withdrew as he was against filming the scenes twice. But apparently, it was because his wife, Ava Gardner, threatened infidelity if he didn't join her on the set of Barefoot Contessa.
Oh, really? That's proper scandal right there.
So... the lovely, wonderful Albert Gordon McRae, who ended up playing Billy in the film, he said he had a feeling that Frank wasn't going to make it, and he had sort of learned that role. He had just come from playing their Oklahoma film version.
Yeah.
He didn't cut his hair, and about 3 weeks after Frank had pulled out of the film, he was found in a production in Dallas. So he went and did Billy on stage, and then but I love him because I love his partnership with Doris Day and By the Light of the Silvery Moon and all of those films. So I just think he's a great Billy Bigelow too.
Very good. Obviously, I am a fan of musical theatre, but you also know that I'm a real fan of something else.
Yes.
What am I also a real big fan of?
Wrestling.
No. Football. I'm a big, massive football fan, aren't I?
I forgot that this was a new thing.
It's not a new thing. I've always been a fan of football. Now, it's a bit of a touchy subject because obviously my beloved team of Ipswich Town Up the Blues, Boo Army, we have been relegated this year. But so we're at one end, we're at the arse end of the table. But at the other end is Liverpool, who have just been crowned Premiership champions 2025.
And I did think it was very apt that they went and won that the week that we were doing.
The week that we're doing this, because
well
obviously
done, Liverpool.
as much of a fan of football that I am, I don't appreciate them stealing musical theatre songs and taking as their own, because obviously the beloved Liverpool football fans do enjoy a rendition of You'll Never Walk Alone, the Rodgers and Hammerstein classic from Carousel, sung many times in the stands. Now, musical theatre legend Barbara Cook was once interviewed, and she knew Richard Rodgers really well. And when asked if Richard Rodgers would approve of the hijacking of his song, she raised an eyebrow, as only musical theatre performers can do, and replied, well, Dickie was always very fastidious about how his songs were performed, so take out of that what you will.
I mean, I struggled because I knew the song from Carousel.
Yeah.
And then we are not a football family.
No.
Don't come from a football family. And
Followed it for years.
Get into secondary school, and my best friend is absolutely obsessed with Liverpool because of her brothers. And
I thought you were talking about me. I was like, I have never been a fan of Liverpool Football Club.
No. And then I was like,
Ipswich till I die.
Ipswich till you die. That is hilarious.
I tell you what, we died this season.
Oh dear. There's always next year, isn't there?
Oh wait, back in the championship. It'll be nice to win some games. It's always much more fun when we're winning.
So you'll be with Wrexham then?
That's correct.
So maybe we'll see you in the stalls in the next series of Wrexham.
Absolutely. I mean, I do have a stand named after me. It's called Bluebell's Stand.
Oh, lovely.
It's good enough. My surname's Bell, for any listeners that are wondering what I'm talking about.
But yes, always intrigued me why a football and why grown men were singing a song from a musical whenever they had no idea that it was from a musical.
I know.
But anyway, there we go.
The world is a bizarre place, isn't it? But it is amazing in popular culture just how many times a musical theatre song can jump in. Also, on a recent visit, I went to see a concert.
I thought you said in a recent,
It was a Jim Bob concert. Jim Bob, he's a singer. You won't have heard of him.
No.
He was once upon a time in a band called Carter the Unstoppable Sex Machine.
Right, okay.
Well, let's just say I've been introduced to a mosh pit.
Oh.
It was an interesting time, but amidst moshing in the pit, he all of a sudden sings The Impossible Dream.
There you go.
It was a good version, to be fair.
Well, there you go.
Really good.
See?
But and then you're going, who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
Shepherd Bush Empire, I'd be listening to a musical theatre classic. Anyway, let's move on to what we've learnt from Carousel.
Well, researching, I didn't know, even though I had a love of Carousel the musical, I didn't know that it was based on the play. So it was definitely my first musical lyrical lingo. Then in You're a Queer One, in Julie George.
Yeah.
And half the time your shuttle gets twisted in the threads till you can't tell the warp from the woof.
Yeah.
So as I had mentioned earlier, they're mill workers.
Yeah.
So this just means the threads that run lengthwise on the loom, while woof or weft threads run across, creating the fabric's texture.
Yeah.
And I probably should know that with my mother being the wonderful seamstress that she was, but I didn't know it.
There you go. I was quite interested in the history of carousels. First of all, the fact that Billy Bigelow was known as a carousel barker or a carnival barker. And I was like, barker, that's weird. But a barker is a person who attempts to attract patrons to entertainment events such as circuses or fun fairs by exhorting passing members of the public, announcing attractions of the show and emphasizing variety, novelty, beauty, or some other enticing feature. Now, apparently professional barkers strongly dislike the term.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, and generally refer to themselves as talkers.
Oh, okay.
So there you go. So I didn't know what a barker was. Also, it was really quite interesting because obviously I'm just back from a London trip, and we were walking down the South Bank, and what was on the South Bank but a beautiful, beautiful carousel. And at the front of the carousel, it's amazing where you get your research from for this podcast, but was this big billboard about the history of carousels. And I was like, I have to take a picture. I have to take a picture for the pod. So the name Carousel originated. Do you know where it originated from?
For it.
It originated from the old Italian Spanish word carosello or carosella, meaning little battle.
Oh.
Yeah, hence the horses.
Nice.
This was because early machines were used for cavalry training. In the 12th century, carousels first became popular for entertainment in the great public parks of Europe in the 1700s. And then early carousels had no platform. The animals would hang on ropes or chains, and they were often powered by animals walking in a circle or people pulling on the ropes. Yeah. Then by the mid-19th century, platform carousels were developed and powered by steam. Then electrical motors then were installed. Electrical lights came, and it just developed and developed. Interestingly, though, each country had like its own variation of the carousel, and one of the notable differences was the direction of the horses. So American carousels rotate counterclockwise.
Right. Okay. That's cool.
I'm sorry, like I just became a bit geeky when I saw the sign. I literally stood there for 10 minutes reading it.
That's fab.
There you go.
I love it. I do love a good carousel.
I mean,
I've been on a few.
A bit boring for me.
I do like them.
Although with my vertigo attack that I had a couple of years ago, I'm not so sure I could go on anything else in a funfair other than a carousel.
Yeah, so
now.
it's probably the only
So
thing.
I might just have to learn to lump it. Like it or lump it.
There's beautiful carousels in Disney. And we also did a lovely one sitting at like an ice cream parlour in Santa Monica. At their piers are really nice fun too. And a couple in San Diego as well. The kids like a good carousel.
There you go.
Yeah, and you see, you need to also watch Schmigadoon.
Yeah.
Because one of the main characters, Aaron Tveit's role, is Billy Bigelow.
Is it Barker? Is he? Oh, there you go.
So I also learned in If I Loved You, a beautiful
We've
song.
talked about If I Love You on the pod already. It was in our top 5.
It was for
Valentine's Day
songs.
musical theatre love song.
So it's between Julie and Billy. And she says, I'm never going to marry. If I was going to marry, I wouldn't have to be such a stickler.
Yeah.
And a stickler then is somebody who insists on strict observance of rules or a particular way of doing things.
I think I'm a bit of a stickler.
Yeah, I think everybody can be a bit of a stickler for certain things, can't they?
I agree.
Like, you know, some people are a stickler for rules as in you would never break a rule, and other people for taking your shoes off in the house, or, you know, all of those little things. But
I can't remember if we talked about this when we were doing our Valentine's episode, but like lyricist Oscar Hammerstein solved one of the trickiest problems in musical theatre with this song: how to get a credible love song for two people who have just met. So like previously, when two people meet in a musical, they instantly fall in love and they sing their hearts out, like how this undying love. In an age of naturalism in the theatre, audiences were finding that unconvincing. And Hammerstein solved this with the conditional love song, which is now a standard in musical theatre. He was paving the way to conditional love songs in his earlier musical Showboat. In that, a couple sang Make Believe, Only Make Believe I Love You. Okay, then in Oklahoma, Curly and Laurie, they sing, what's their conditional love song?
Don't go
gazing
at me.
Which is in, people will say,
we're in love.
We're in love, okay? Where they explore and they worry about their feelings. And then finally Carousel Hammerstein creates the perfect celebration of tentative love and the fear of omitting one's growing feelings with "if I loved you."
Ah,
There you go.
I love that wee song.
I also think it's really clever play on the lyrics. They sing, "Words wouldn't come in an easy way. Round in circles I'd go." That kind of, it's so clever, isn't it? Of Hammerstein, you know, the idea of a carousel.
I know.
You know, going round, but also perfectly illustrating the character's tentativeness to the situation.
And also because, you know, there is a little bit of hesitation because of the job he's doing, especially at that time, and what she's doing, and how will that look to other people, and just everything.
And he's not a warm character. I think that's where I sometimes struggle. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Carousel, and as I said, I'm a blubbery mess by the end of it. But he's not he's not even a likeable rogue. Like, he's a bad one.
Yeah.
Like, he's a naughty boy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you're just right to be tentative, Julie, Jordan.
Absolutely. But sometimes when the heart calls, you just got to go.
That's it.
Give it to him good, Carrie.
Excuse me?
Give it to him good. This is
That's a song in the show.
It is a song. It says, "Get away, you no account nothings, with your silly jokes and prattle." And that just means foolish or childish talk.
Yep.
And then pollywogs, it says pollywog's head, and that's just a tadpole.
Oh.
A pollywog is a tadpole.
A pollywog, that's a great name.
Because then it says it's a pollywog and it doesn't grow up to be a frog.
Oh,
that's the rest of the line.
Oh, that's a cute line.
Yeah.
I don't know much about that song. Like, it's not one I'd have on repeat. Those are interesting.
No, and
lyrics.
it's maybe one of the ones that's actually taken out of the film. There's 2 songs which are taken out. I think Queer One, Julie Jordan's taken out as well.
I'm not a big fan of the film, you see, so I'm a musical lover through and through.
Yeah.
One of the songs, have you got more from that?
And also they, so Carousel and Oklahoma and Seven Brides and all of those ones would have been on in the house whenever my mum was making costumes. So it's always one that's like on TV wise, and it's one of the ones from the collection.
Yeah.
She has, so there's loads of background information on it. But so that's probably the first time I heard about a clam bake. Now I'll go on to more whenever we've got the clam bake song, but it's mentioned in Give It To Him Good, Carrie, but a clam bake is just an outdoor seafood feast associated specifically with New England. Often it is seafood cooked in a hot pit and steamed over hot stones.
Yeah. Often the pit oven, it's in with seaweed. I didn't know what a clam bake was. Oh, what a real nice clam bake. There are some clangers, I have to say. Like, I think a real nice clam bake is a funny old song.
Oh, it is. And it's the opening of Act 2, isn't it?
It's just a bit bizarre. Like, it sets the scene. It does the job it needs to do, but I'm just going, seriously, is this song in the same musical as You'll Never Walk Alone or If I Loved You? Another one that has me tittering and giggling because I just can't believe it's from the same musical is June is busting out all over. It makes me giggle every time. I'm like, what a hilarious musical theatre song. And you know what? They love to do it in their musical concerts.
They do.
Like, I don't know how many Junes I've heard busting out of the seams. Let me tell you.
Yeah, it's almost like one that you would feel disappointed, shortchanged if you didn't hear it.
I'm going to a musical concert tonight. They'll definitely sing June is busting out all over. And it's all a certain generation, isn't it, too? So it always sounds a bit warbly.
Yeah.
June is busting all over. It just makes me giggle.
I love it.
They say in June is busting out all over. They sing May. It's like lyrically, it's really clever. Like, it goes through the seasons and all the rest of it. May is full of promises, but we didn't keep them quick enough for some, a crowd of doubting Thomases. Now, you maybe knew this, did you? I didn't. I wanted to know where doubting Thomases came from.
The Bible.
Well, now I know. A doubting Thomas is a skeptic who refuses to believe without direct personal experience, and it's a reference to the Apostle Thomas. Yeah. Okay, who refused to believe the resurrection of Jesus until he was shown proof of the crucifixion wounds.
There you go.
But you see, that's what I mean. You're a very good person.
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah. Soliloquy.
Oh, here.
What?
Did you have more on clam bake?
Well, I haven't got onto clam bake yet because
But you
I was
did.
just...
You told us what a clam bake was.
But listen, I told you, clam bake, the word is just mentioned in Give It to Good Carrie.
Well, give me the clam bake then, the real nice clam bake.
Okay, and then we'll go back to Soliloquy.
I love it. See, I love playing you and winding you up because I know you love to do your musical lyrical lingos in chronological order that they come in the musicals. And when we go out of order, you lose.
I'm a bit of a stickler.
You are a bit of a stickler. Take it in order. What's next? The Soliloquy. Which is Billy Bigelow's Big Isle.
And I have loved this song from I was little because I think I love that realization that he has halfway through where he says, you can have fun with a son, but you gotta be a father to a girl.
Yeah.
And I think as a girl who has the most amazing father and has the most amazing relationship with her father, and he would do anything for me, I just love the idea of that.
Yeah.
And then obviously now having the most supportive husband who is a wonderful father to both my son and my daughter, it's just lovely to be like, these are wee thoughts that go through, people's heads. And anyway.
And it's the power of the, Hammerstein is probably the best lyricist there ever has been. And I'll put it out there now. If we ever do a episode on our top 10 musical theatre numbers, Soliloquy will be in my top 10. Yeah. Without a doubt.
Yeah, no, it is absolutely.
It's a stunning.
Beautiful.
Musical theatre
Beautiful.
number.
And
long.
I think, yes, it is very long, but a soliloquy is long.
I know. But as you say, it's that roller coaster of emotions and feelings and realizations that he goes through from start to finish.
And I think if you have a fantastic actor playing that role, that you will feel that at the same moment that Billy, and you'll get that realization, and everything then will be like that's the part that you start rooting for Billy.
Yes, that's
because everything before that you're like, he's a shit. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Also in that was the first time I learned that opera glasses are called lorgnette, because he says about when he's talking about his son. And he'll marry, and he's quite rude, he'll marry his boss's daughter, and she'll give him a peck on the cheek, and she'll call it a kiss, and she'll look at him in his eyes through a lorgnette, like not even look at him properly, like look in his eyes. So, yeah.
There you go. Can we now go to a clam bake?
We can go to clam bake.
This was a real nice clam bake. Go on then.
Vittles?
Okay, that's what I had.
Okay, go for it.
Well, I didn't know what a vittle was. Now, am I right in saying vittle is just supplies of food?
Yeah, so it's a word from victuals, which has been in the English language from around 1300s, but it actually comes from Latin victulus to mean nourishment.
There you go. And they sing the vittles we ate.
Mm-hmm.
E.T.
E.T. Like it. Like it, yeah.
The word
is associated with the rural South, cowboys, pioneers, mountain men, and the like. So it is something that would be said for probably what we would say in our brunch.
Get the vittles out. Yeah.
Speaking then of clam bake, can you name all the different food that they mention in the song?
Not really. Trout.
Not once.
Salmon.
Not once.
Mussels.
Not once.
Clams.
Well done.
Prawns.
No.
Lobster.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Starfish. Pufferfish.
No. Okay, I'm going to tell you. So they start with codfish chowder, and the onions rise to the top.
Okay.
Salted pork.
I thought it was seafood.
Oh yeah, why have I got pork? Don't know, I've got pork down anyway. Red hot lobsters. And what is the red hot lobsters doused in?
Dill
Melted butter.
Melted butter.
And then we've got clams.
Clams, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not a big fan of the chowder, but this is lies. Here's my feelings about seafood chowder.
Chowder.
Chowder. I would love to try seafood chowder, but I just think I'd be sick.
Would you?
I think it's too creamy for me and too fishy. I love fish, and that was one of my New Year's resolutions a couple of years ago, that I would try and start eating more fish.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, have I
Loved it.
Gone for it. And seafood chowder is the last thing I have to try. That, and I haven't done lobster actually either, or mussels. Oh, I'm not doing very well. But the fish variety, I've done well. And you would be in a restaurant and it would come out and it like smells amazing.
Yeah, it is
but
really
it just looks really creamy and really fishy, and I don't know if I'd cope.
Okay, I love all fish, all types of fish, and I would usually order it. And if I, having a girl dinner, or like there's nobody going to be in the house, I will just make myself a fish dinner, because not everybody else really likes it in the house, and seafood chowder. So I am going to recommend for you to buy Lidl's seafood chowder.
Okay.
Because then you can try it at home. And then if you don't like it,
you can just book up
you can just
at
book
home
at home,
if I
but
need
it's
to.
actually really nice.
Okay.
But yeah, and I would make my own fish pie and everything.
Maybe I just
love
need
it.
to come round here for a fish
just come
pie.
round here. Mussels, lobster, I'll do the lot
And
for
we
you.
can sing.
Yeah.
That was a real nice clam bake.
Love it. Love it. That was my last musical lyrical lingo.
Glad to hear it. No, I'm joking, that's all. But I don't mean it. I never mean it. What were your stand ovations?
Soliloquy,
Yeah.
and I do love your queer one, Julie Jordan.
Yeah.
I do love it.
That's it. I was Soliloquy, If I Love You,
well, yes.
obviously. But do you know what one of my favourites is? Mr. Snow.
Isn't it great?
Oh my goodness, it's adorable.
Yeah,
It's when Cassie.
Yeah.
Cassie.
Cassie. Carrie?
It's Carrie,
Carrie.
not Cassie.
Carrie.
Carrie. It's Carrie is all, and I love her because she's like, when Julie then tells her about Billy and how she's met Billy, she's like, "Oh, I'm so glad you've met him, because I've met someone too, but I didn't want to say anything until you'd found someone yourself." And oh my goodness, the way she sings about Mr. Snow and
his
how
round-bottomed boat.
his round-bottomed boat, and him, because he's obviously a fisherman, and he smells a fish, and she's like, when I first met him, he smelled a fish an awful lot, and then she's like, but I now love the smell of fish, and it's like, oh, you're adorable.
I love it, and I love that. I love their relationship, and I think if you didn't have that in the musical, it would be too dark.
1,000%. You need, especially in the early going, you need that, because the Julie-Billy relationship is so volatile. You need a truly loving, like wholesome, couple.
Yeah, and I love as well the song where he sings to her about how many children they're going to have, and like, we'll start with one, and then you'll have two, and then she says something like, and we'll have 8, and our house will grow and grow, and she's like, I'll grow and grow,
They're adorable.
It's just lovely. It's really nice. But yes,
in fact,
100%.
I'm going to listen to those 2 songs on my way home.
Oh,
I think,
lovely.
like, it's just really cute.
Yeah, lovely.
There we go. I'm glad we did that.
Yeah.
We haven't done enough, Richard. We say this every time, and there's so many of them, but it's best to spread them out, because they are quintessentially perfect.
Yeah, and they are beautiful.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we've been trying to do this one for a while, and we just have been like, oh no, we're not yet. But yeah, it was good.
The time was right.
Yeah, and that is one of my lasting memories, is that you got me tickets and we went to see it, and it was lovely.
And we sobbed our little eyes out in the back of the stalls, like it was proper.
Yeah, 100%.
Wasn't it?
100%. It really was.
I can't help it. It's
okay,
very
what
sad.
would Paddy do?
Oh, here.
Which is really weird, because you did yours without me for last week, and then I did mine this week without you. So what would you rather?
See, we don't plan this this podcast,
lead
folks.
the quirky moves in the time warp.
But you then asked me this last week.
No, I didn't. Or
Okay.
March with the Band in 76 trombones from Music Man.
Oh, so we've gone from The Parade Passes By to 76 trombones. Music Man, because Music Man's another golden oldie, another favourite of mine, and we haven't done it on the pod yet. That and Shapoopy. I'm all for Shapoopy, Shapoopy. It's another musical number in the Music Man.
I'm not au fait with the Music Man.
Oh, it's fabulous. Let's do it. 76 trombones led the big parade with 110 cornets close at hand.
That's the only song I know.
Yeah, it's totally Music Man.
Yeah.
I still stand by my opinion of last
Perfect.
week. I'm not a Rocky Horror. I don't have the physique
The physique.
for that basque. You're not getting me in a basque.
Okay. No, just a gold lame pants.
Or we've moved on from the gold lame.
Oh, that was fun. I can't
That
even
was
remember
fun.
what we're doing over the next couple of weeks. But you know what I do know?
What?
It's going to be a musical, and we're going to do some learning. So why don't you come back?
So much. Listen, they can come back. Let's see if I come back, because I'm on a school residential trip next week.
Oh yes, that's right.
So we'll see if I come back in one piece.
Let's hope.
They'll be there. Our listeners will be here. You'll be here. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Okay. Well,
Wish me luck. Pray for me. Keep me in your thoughts.
we
Until
will do
next
it
week.
all. Bye.
Tune in as the memories grow.